This is part 2 on surviving the holidays with a child that's a picky eater or someone that has a feeding disorder. With the holiday season, as we already talked about, can be quite stressful if you have a child and that has trouble, but also think about how the child is feeling. So I'm going to talk today about what you should not do during this holiday season or when you're at an event or a food event of any sort, whether it's school, your family, your friends, whatever's going on. Let's talk about some things that you should not do if you have a child that's a picky eater. At a holiday event, it is not the time to try to get your child to eat a new food. Unless your child's asking to, certainly that would be a great opportunity. If he's seeing his cousins or a bunch of friends trying something that he's never tried before or he's comfortable with but has not eaten, certainly that would be fine, but keep your eyes on him in case that he needs some intervention. Do not let good-willing Aunt Carol make your child eat. No one has the ability, or no one has the authority, or you're not going to give them the authority to feed your child, especially during these holiday seasons or you're at a family event of any sort. It's also not a time to vent your frustrations about your child's feeding disorder. If you need to have therapy or if you need to talk with your sister or your friends or whatever, that is perfectly fine. We all need support. Moms have a lot on our plates, and so do dads. We do. It's very, very important to have someone to talk to. But at a holiday party, not the time to do it. So save that. Maybe schedule a coffee or a glass of wine or whatever you like to do with a friend or a family member that you can talk with to help you cope and get through difficulties with dealing with your picky eater or your child that has feeding disorders. Also, no bribing, no tricking, none of those things are ever appropriate, but especially during a family mealtime or a holiday mealtime. Do not bribe them or trick them. That just creates distrust between you and your child and between your child and the food, and that will make feeding therapy more challenging. It will also make your ability to introduce new foods to that child more challenging because the child is not going to trust you if you try to trick them or bribe them. The other thing that you want to not do is get into a family discussion about what is going on in feeding therapy at the holiday event. If people want to give you advice, like I said on the other video, you can smile sweetly and take the advice and use it if any of it is beneficial, and if not, ignore it. That's usually the easiest thing to do at a large event because then you don't have to get into any sort of conflict or you don't have to negate someone's good attempts to try to help you, because people just do that because they want to help. But as you know, having issues, you don't need people to tell you what to do, especially if they're not feeding therapists, because feeding therapists spend many years learning and educating themselves about what works, what doesn't. We know the literature. We understand what is helpful for children that have feeding and swallowing disorders. So let's go through quickly what to do. Not time to try new food, not time to let anyone try to feed your child, not the time to vent frustrations or talk about your difficulties in front of the whole crowd, no bribing, no tricking, none of that behavior is going to be helpful at all. So hopefully you survive the holidays with a picky eater. Happy holidays.